Hello and good afternoon. We would like to welcome you to the Candidate Forum. As most of you all know, being a board member is a very important and crucial commitment to ensuring the success of all students. So we thank everyone for being here. We would also like to thank the League of Women's Voters for their support and for making this possible.
Hola y buenas tardes. Nos gustaría darles la bienvenida al Foro de Candidatos. Como la mayoría lo sabe, el ser miembro de una mesa directiva escolar es un compromiso muy importante y crucial para asegurar el éxito de cada estudiante. Así que les agradecemos a todos por estar aquí y reconocemos el apoyo y liderazgo de la Liga de Mujeres Votantes ayudándonos a hacer este evento posible.
Before we begin, we would like to introduce you to tonight's Spanish interpreter, Carla Martínez.
Antes de comenzar, quisiéramos darle la bienvenida a nuestra intérprete, Carla Martínez. Good evening, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Carla Martínez. My name is Carla Martínez. This is a bilingual message and I will repeat it in English in just a second. Voy a proveer interpretación simultánea entre inglés y español durante la reunión de hoy. Pido a los oradores que por favor hablen uno a la vez y a un paso moderado. El equipo de interpretación se encuentra en la mesa ubicada en la parte trasera de este salón. Muchas gracias. And good evening, my name is Carla Martínez and I'll be providing simultaneous interpretation between English and Spanish for today's event. We just want to remind speakers to please speak one at a time and at a moderate pace, so that we can transmit the full message. And the interpretation equipment is available at the table at the rear of this room. If you would like to use it, please come by and pick one up. Thank you very much. Gracias.
Thank you, Carla, for the introduction. We would now like to introduce the Santa Maria Joint Union High School District Superintendent Antonio Garcia.
Good evening, everybody. Buenas noches a todos. As the superintendent for the Santa Maria Joint Union High School District, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you this evening to Ethel Pope Auditorium, one of the oldest buildings in Santa Maria, and a iconic place in our school district where we host a lot of different events, both school-related and community-related as well. So this November, we will hold the first elections that are by trustee area. Our school board has adopted the shift from at-large elections to by trustee area elections. We have 3 different seats that are open for this November. We have one of those seats that the candidate ran unopposed, Mr. Feliciano Aguilar. And then we have 2 other seats where we have our candidates here this evening for this forum. And so with that, I'd like to thank our candidates. I want to thank you for your interest in serving our school community. This is a very important role, like Cesar just mentioned, in terms of providing governance for our school district of over 9,000 students. We serve families from as far south as Los Alamos, Guadalupe to the west, Sisquoc to the east, all of Santa Maria, Orchid, Casmalia, and a lot of other neighborhoods in between. We bring in students from 4 different school districts: Santa Maria-Bonita, Guadalupe, Orchid, and Blockman. And so with that, very grateful to our board candidates for their interest in serving this large community. I also would like to thank the attendees here this evening for your participation in our amazing and wonderful democratic process. And a special thank you to the 2 organizations that are collaborating today to host and coordinate this particular forum, the League of Women Voters and Future Leaders of America. Yes, let's give them a round of applause. I want to thank both organizations for your work. 2 years ago, the last time that we had an election for our board members, I had the opportunity to attend a forum that they co-hosted. It was via Zoom, and it was a very enlightening experience to see this collaboration between our youth and our adults here in the community. It's wonderful that we're back in person. And so again, thank you and welcome. And I will pass the time back over to Cesar.
Thank you very much for that insight and introduction, Antonio. Now we would like to welcome Virginia Souza with the League of Women Voters of Santa Maria Valley, who will be the forum moderator tonight. Thank you, Susan.
Good evening. My name is Virginia Souza. I'm the current president of the League of Women Voters in Santa Maria Valley, serving all of North Santa Barbara County. The League of Women Voters was formed over 100 years ago when women were fighting for the right to vote. We are very proud of that heritage. The mission of our organization is to work on voter access and registration, as well as providing fair and factual education on issues and elections. We are nonpartisan, meaning that as an organization we do not support any candidates or support any political parties. We have accepted membership by men as well as women for several years, non-citizens as well, and students are offered free memberships. I would like to begin by thanking our sponsors for the evening. We thank Fund for Santa Barbara, NAACP, CAUSE, and the Santa Maria Times. We also offer a big thank you to the Future Leaders of America organization, Gloria Soto, Nick Razzo, and Yvette Peralta for organizing all of the details of this forum. In addition, thank you to the Santa Maria Joint Union High School Superintendent, who you just heard, Antonio Garcia, for allowing the forum to take place in the historic Ethel Pope Auditorium. And finally, thank you for the candidates for sharing their busy lives with us this evening. It's unfortunate that one of the candidates could not make it, and that is Raymond Acosta, but we'll just continue in any case. We will begin this evening with the flag salute, so please stand. The flag is over on the far side of the building. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Followed by a land acknowledgement. The League of Women Voters of Santa Maria Valley humbly acknowledges that it is speaking to you within the traditional homelands of the Chumash tribe. We recognize and are grateful for the First Nations who set an example of how to live in harmony with the natural world. Okay, I think we're ready to go. And we'll start with the rules of the format and the format of tonight's forum. I will ask you to hold your applause until the very end of the forum. The candidates are not to speak to one another or about one another, but will address their point of view of the questions at all times to the audience. There will be no unauthorized videotaping, and tomorrow, a YouTube that's authorized by the League of Women Voters of this forum will appear on the League of Women Voters Santa Maria Valley a YouTube channel. There can be no editing of this video. With that said, let's meet the candidates. So first we'll start with Area 4 and Ms. Diana Perez, an incumbent, followed by Mr. David Baskett of Area 5, and Dominick Palera of Area 5 being incumbent. So we'll rotate the order in which we ask these questions, and these first two questions have been sent to all the candidates in advance. So I'm asking to remind candidates to speak slowly for the interpreter. The first question is, please introduce yourself to the audience and describe what experiences and education you have that will aid you in being an effective board member, and why are you running? And we'll start this question with Ms. Perez.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. It's my pleasure and my honor to be here tonight and address my experience on the school board. Buenas noches. Gracias por invitarme. Es un placer estar aquí con ustedes. I'm going to start by just saying a little bit about myself. I was raised in Salinas. My parents worked in the fields, in the celery and the onions, and I myself worked in the strawberry fields when I was a teenager. So we came from very humble beginnings, and after I graduated from high school, I went to my local community college. I earned an associate degree in general education. I transferred to UC Santa Barbara, earning a bachelor's degree in political science, and then continued on to my master's degree at Fresno State, earning a master's in education counseling. And so that's my academic experience. My work experience is that I was hired, my first professional job was at Santa Barbara City College. I was the ESL counselor there. Then I went to work for UC Santa Barbara as an admissions counselor, helping students get into the UC system. And then after that, I was hired by Allen Hancock College, where I currently work. I am the director of the CalSO Project, which is a grant-funded program by the California Student Aid Commission. So I help students with financial aid, paying for college, navigating the college process. In addition, in 2007, I was appointed as a commissioner for California State Parks, the OHV division. So I have 4 years of working at state government level. We dealt with very complicated and contentious issues, land and property and access. So I have 4 years of working with government and how it works and how to get things done at that level. In addition, I also serve currently as a board member for the Center for Employment Training, which is a program right here in Santa Maria. I'm proud to be part of that program and help the students that attend there. And recently, for fun, I started taking classes at Allen Hancock College, and I earned an AA degree in English. So that was just on my free time, and I enjoyed doing that. And now, why am I running? Well, first of all, I do want to say that I do have extensive experience, 25 years working with high school students, helping them achieve their higher educational goals. I have 15 years serving on different boards, and I also have 4 college degrees that I've earned along the way to help me maintain my currency and what I need for my jobs and the things that I'm passionate about.
I'm going to have to interrupt you here. It's time to stop.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Baskett. You have 3 minutes. And
I hope this is less about me and more about you and your concerns. Very simple. I was born in California, grew up in an international place up in mountains where people wore G-strings and carried spears, had no written language. I ended up from there, went to school in Texas, ended up as a pilot in the Amazon. And the Army found me, so I spent 20 years in the Army, doing various things that you do in the Army. I came to Santa Maria because I love the area and wanted to raise my kids here, and we did so. They all graduated from local schools, and I'm very proud of them. One became a teacher, one became a Mercedes tech, and one's a fireman. And tonight I want to hear more from you and what your concerns are. I do have one comment to say. Dominick, I think, has been a very good trustee. He has overseen a lot of turbulence in the schools with COVID, and out of all of this has come the technical center and other things, and I congratulate him on a job well done. We have minor differences in some views. You'll hear about them.
There will be, reminder, there'll be no talking about or to any of the other candidates. Only speak to the audience, please.
Okay. Back to you. So that's all I've got right now, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Okay, Mr. Palera.
Thank you. Start off by thanking the League of Women Voters and the Future Leaders of America for putting this on tonight. And I also want to thank everybody for being here tonight. It's important to get involved in government and elections and stay informed. So thank you all, because I know there's a lot of things you could be doing, but you chose to be here tonight. A little bit about myself. I grew up in New York. After I graduated high school, I went into the Marine Corps, where I met my wife. We've been married 44 years, and when we moved back to California, I decided I wanted to find a town where we wanted to raise a family, and we chose Santa Maria. And it's here that I raised 3 daughters. All of them went to local school. They all attended Rigetti High School. And now I have 4 granddaughters in the community, and I have 2 currently at Rigetti High School, and 2 more. One will be joining next year, and the other one's a little younger, several years before she's there. So that's what brought me to the area. What happened when I got to Santa Maria, I found my passion in life was law enforcement, and I joined the Sheriff's Department. I spent the next 30 years working in the Sheriff's Department, and I worked all aspects, from gangs, narcotics, major crimes, just about every aspect the department had, I worked. And I retired in 2013 after 30 years with the Sheriff's Department. And it was at that time, I really had no plan at what I wanted to do, and I was asked by the county supervisor to sit on the Child Welfare Safety Net Task Force. And each supervisor got to appoint one individual. We wanted to look at what was taking place with children throughout the community, where there were any lapses in the services. And then I decided, from being in law enforcement, I saw how important education was, because the people I dealt with that were in trouble seemed to be the ones that always dropped out of school, the ones who did not get engaged in school. So I ran for the school board and was elected in 2014. And then in 2015, again, I was asked by the Superior Court judge to sit on the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Profession Commission. So those aspects of dealing with juveniles and seeing what is going on is why I chose to be on the school board, and why I feel it's so important to educate our kids and make sure they stay connected in the school and stay out of trouble with gangs, drugs, etc.
Question number 2. This time we're going to start with Mr. Baskett. And this is a lengthy question, which you have all seen in advance. So we're going to give you 5 minutes instead of 4. I was remiss when I only gave you 4 minutes, because the question is, what are your goals for the school district, and how do you plan to work with various stakeholders, parents, students, teachers, staff, administrators, and the community? So that's 6 parts to that question. And we're starting with Mr. Baskett. 5 minutes.
Thank you. I'm going to bring up something that's been troubling the world for a long time. About Well, several years ago, there was a school where gunmen came in and killed more than 300 students, many teachers, and seized the school for several days. Most of us don't remember that because it was not much American news. Sometime later, the Chinese guy took a knife and killed about 30 or 40 students. Then, of course, we've had our own well-advertised school shootings. The last one was horribly tragic, where law enforcement sat around and didn't clear the situation. Another 19 students and teachers were killed. My focus is primarily in school safety. We can have different ideas about education. We can have input from all kinds of folks and ideologies and backgrounds, but our students must be safe. And at the end of the day, all of that falls apart if the students are not safe. This school, the schools here have good safety security. Other schools have had them too. But people fail. And at some point, and I may lose some people's votes here, at some point, a teacher in a classroom, in my view, should have, if they want to, the ability to defend the students against somebody who is in there to harm the students. Now, how do you work with people? I've been working with people. I look in the mirror and say, boy, I've been working with people for a long time. I have been on boards. Mr. Tom Gibbons and I just came from the Sheriff's Benevolent Posse meeting where we work with the Sheriff's group in order to help pick up the bits and pieces that sometimes the Sheriff needs to make a better organization. Part of the military is you go from the low levels up to the mid levels. You work with people work with you. Biggest thing is give out your phone number, be approachable, don't slam the door in anybody's face, and treat the other people, even though they hold different opinions, with respect. The big conflict, I think, now in our schools is ideologies and what we're going to do about the next generation. I look forward to your participation and your input on that.
Mr. Palera.
Thank you. Since I've been on the board, I think one of the things we've always done well is reach out to the community, the staff, and the students. Everything we've done is centered on those things, always seeking input. In fact, every year we meet with all those groups to decide what's working as we spend our funds on what's called the LCAP. That's extra money that comes in to go towards student functions, to improve students. So that's something that I think we do well. What we also did in my first year as we were running, we were looking at improving student outcomes. I think we do a good job as far as if you look at all of our campuses. I think you'd be proud to be on any campus. We invest, the community has passed 3 bonds to help invest in the community to make our campuses what they are. I think they're all outstanding. When you put pride in the campus, that shows back with the kids. So if you look at those 3 things, that's where we were going. As I first came on, we opened the Performing Arts Center, and we did Rigetti. We added 33 classrooms over there. We're modernizing that. You look at this campus right now, as we're sitting here, as you drive in front of it, it's a beautiful looking campus, and as soon as we finish at 50 classrooms in back of this building, the campus will be transformational. There's a lot more coming at this campus because we're going to redo the administration. So we're putting our resources in that. But where I felt we got a bad grade at the end of my 4 years is when the state came out and we looked at where our students were going. We didn't have enough students that were eligible or going off to colleges and universities. So that started to become a priority, and we were working on that. With that, our long-term superintendent retired, put us in a little bit of a bind. I got reelected, I was board president, and we were on the search. So we spent a lot of time that year just trying to get grounded and pick somebody who would take us to that next level. And I believe we found that person. You saw the superintendent earlier today, Antonio Garcia. We were thrilled to have him on board, and he's got us going in the right direction as far as that goes. So I want to continue on that. And as Antonio came in, he was here for 3 months as a new superintendent. What happened? COVID hit. Set everything back. We spent 2.5 years, I think everybody in education, everybody in the world, it was 2.5 years of lost time and effort. So it set us back on the plan we had to go. But as we came out of COVID and we're hit the ground running. The superintendent, working with the board, the direction is to keep going, and that's where we're going. We opened up the CTE Center. We now have 5 pathways over there. We want to continue that. We're running concurrent classes at all of our campuses, including the CTE Center, which enables the student to take a class that qualifies as a class over at Allen Hancock, so they can then expand and go to Allen Hancock and probably get out in a year because I'll have all these classes done. So we want to continue on that. And then we looked at our curriculum, and on our career pathways, we align those all into what you call A to G compliant. That enables a student to earn credits to go to a university. So you could take a career pathway, and then if you choose not to stay in that pathway, but you want to go, say you're in culinary, and you decide I want to go to the university, the courses you took are concurrent with Allen Hancock and would also qualify A to G, so you could enroll in the UC or USC University here in California. So that's a big step forward. It's something we want to continue. And I'm proud to say we started that, go back, we're on the goal right now, and I think we're headed in the right direction. I see nothing but good things coming for the students and for the community. So that's what I want to see. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Perez?
Yes. My goals for the future are going to be actually very specific. The number one issue that I see in our school district is that it is space, actually. We, as Mr. Garcia mentioned, we have over 9,000 students at our 4 schools, roughly about 3,200 at Pioneer, 3,000 at Santa Maria High School, 2,500 at Rigetti, and over 400 at Delta. But our comprehensive high schools were built for 2,000 students. So we are definitely oversubscribed, we're overcrowded. So my number one support will be for building a new comprehensive high school for our community. And the reason for that is because we certainly could help increase the number of students at our current schools. I think we need to decrease the travel time for Guadalupe students, who I do want to support. And also because we need to prepare for future growth, and we need to think of those issues before they reach us. And actually, we're already there. That's my number one goal. My second goal is that Future Leaders of America came to us 2 or 3 years ago and wanted us to improve our A through G rates. At that time, we were at about 23%. So we agreed that we needed to do a better job. And this past academic year, Pioneer Valley High School was at 50% A through G, which was incredible. And then our other 2 high schools were at 43%. So we doubled the numbers. So the district has done an amazing job at increasing A through G. And I want this to continue to be one of my goals, because I do want all of our students to have choices when they graduate from high school. I want them to choose to go to college or university if that's the choice. I know a percentage of our students go to the military. I want to support students that want to go to the military. And I also want to support students that want to go to trade schools or learn through our programs to go enter careers that offer a pathway to living wages. So I support that as my second goal. My third goal is always, as mentioned, is to keep our schools safe. I know that it's very important in order to have learning happen, students need to feel safe. So I support a lot of the policies that we've implemented to assure that at all times, students are safe at all of our schools. And in terms of how I'm going to participate, prior to the pandemic, if any of you came to our events, we used to have 200 to 400 parents showing up to our events. We had large crowds of parents and students, and we're getting back into those events. And you will see me at these events, and I will be there to continue to support all the goals that we have for the school district. And those are concurring events.
Thank you. Thank you. At this time, we're going to take a 15-minute break. And at this time, the audience will be asked to use the cards that you were given when you first came into the forum and write your question that you'd like to put to these candidates. So you can also use the restroom. You can exit out these doors, and there's a well-lit. The restrooms aren't open. We were told the restrooms were open.
They're open.
They are.
They're open.
Oh, okay.
I was there. Yeah, you just have to go to that building that's...
Okay. So you can use the restroom. You can go back and get some food. And now, who are the question sorters and the question... Oh, okay. Well, how about some FLA students? Could they pick up the questions that people have when they're ready?
Yeah.
So, okay, so just raise your hand when you're ready, when you have your question ready, and somebody will pick it up. And we'll bring it up to the front table right here in front of the timers, and we will sort those questions. So I'll let you know when it's time to resume. We'll have a 15-minute break.
Wow, that was hard. Okay, let's take our seats, and we've got some great questions for the panel. So thank you to the sorters from FLA and Lisa Thornhill. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Sandy Boyd to you now. She is our timer. I forgot to introduce her. She has time paddles for 1 minute, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and when she puts the stop paddle up, that's it. You have to stop. Otherwise, she charges the stage. All right. Everybody ready? These are really good questions. We're going to begin with Mr. Palera this time. All right. We'll start with a question from the students. Many students are complaining about the time change to later in the morning. Why weren't students involved with this decision? What would you do to include students in decision making?
Well, thank you for the question. And the students aren't the only ones not happy with the early start time. It was a decision that wasn't made by any of the local districts. It was made up in Sacramento, and the school districts had to comply with it. So that's why, if you're a student wondering why you didn't have any input, I've had teachers ask, they didn't have any input. The boards didn't have any input. It was a mandate, and we had to follow the mandate. What we do try to do is reach out if it's something that is going to impact the students, to try to get their opinion. Each high school has a representative at the board, a student board representative, and we ask them all the time to give us feedback, not only what's going on the campus, or questions similar to this, so we can involve them and see if we have to do more. I know we have the superintendent goes out and he meets with them too, so we do reach out, and when we can, we will. So.
Thank you. Ms. Perez?
I'm not going to really repeat what Mr. Palera said because he's actually correct. This was a state decision, not anything that we chose. However, I do recall that students used to have, some of the media to let us know your thoughts, and so there's various ways for you to let us know. Sometimes when it's not on our call, but to let us know how you feel about the school and things that are going on. So I would encourage you to look at using media to communicate with us, our emails. I love to hear from students. If you ever want to come to our board meetings, I think it's a great opportunity for you to come and let us know what your concerns are. And when we hear from you, in whatever format, we definitely will take a look at what the concerns are and what we might be able to do. Maybe there's other ways that we can modify some things. So we're always open to hearing from you, but there's really not a whole lot that we can do when the state dictates it. We do make a lot of decisions, and so we want to hear from you, and when those decisions do impact you, please come talk to us, email us, come call us, and we'd be happy to hear from you.
Thank you. Mr. Baskett. Mr. Baskett?
Well, obviously, I didn't have anything to say about the earlier hours either. I will state that as a military person, that we normally had classes or formations starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, so it seems fairly relaxed to me. But I'm sure you don't enjoy it. That's all I've got to say.
Okay, and these questions, we'll have time for about 8 questions, and the time limit for the questions is 2 minutes. Okay, second question. This comes to us from Guadalupe parent. Restrooms are places where vaping and violent fighting occurs on school campuses. What would you recommend to create safe and open bathrooms during school hours? And we'll start with Ms. Perez.
Certainly, we've actually addressed this issue. Around the pandemic, our school district was on order to have vaping devices alarms in the bathrooms to alert staff. I mean, this is obviously a little bit complicated issue because we can't walk into the restrooms or monitor students in the restroom. So we've looked into implementing devices, and we do have open restrooms. I'm trying to think of ways to that we've addressed this. And I think that the best thing that students can do is really check in with their principal and let us know, because it's my understanding that bathrooms are open and we have vaping devices there to check if there's any of that happening. And I think that the most important voice that you have as students is to let the administration know and send us your concerns. I mean, there's got to be ways that we can figure this out, and I think that if we're not addressing it, then we should.
Thank you. Mr. Baskett?
Violence on any occasion between students or other people should be immediately shut down and the perpetrators taken off the campus. No tolerance for that at all. Some of the problems that are raising now is because of the differences, of the different signs on the restrooms. This happens all around the world, by the way. But my view is somebody attacks another student inside of a restroom or any other place, that student should be handcuffed and taken downtown and not come back.
Mr. Palera?
Thank you. As was mentioned, all of our campuses, the restrooms are open. And it is a problem that we try to deal with. These are young adults. We want to give them some responsibility. We don't want them to have locked restrooms. With that comes, we've had damage in the restrooms. We've had some assaults in the restrooms, some vaping entrance in the restrooms. So as a district, we've hired more security. Our campuses are all closed campuses. We have cameras out all over the campus, and we're realigning some of the cameras to keep an eye not inside the restroom. There are no cameras inside the restroom. but where we can monitor who's going in and out of the restroom. So if something does happen or we have an incident, we can go back and find out who was there and follow up on it. So we're aware of it. The other thing I could say, as a student, each campus has what they call the bully button. You can do it anonymously. So if you feel that something is wrong, there's going to be a fight, or you're being harassed, you should make that complaint so it's known. And if you see something, say something, report something. That's the best way to keep our campuses safe.
All right. Next question. What could be improved to better the communication with parents to be reached and informed about events, programs, and issues the schools face? And we'll begin with Mr. Baskett.
I attended things like PTA meetings as part of that. Also, I occasionally go visit some of the classrooms quietly. Listen, some parents do not have that ability or capability because of the situations to do that. But I believe that any parent should be able to come and feel free to speak at any board meeting that the school has. And there should be a special office in the schools, or at least a special time, where the officials of the school have an open door for parents to come in and ask their questions, share their concerns, and provide their possible solutions to it.
Thank you. Mr. Palera.
We want input from the parents, and we reach out. We recognize who the members of our community are. We use technology. We put out information both in Spanish, English, and we're working on the STECO getting that information out to the parents, because we know those are our parents. So we're working on those things. We not only use it on phone calls, we put out emails, we have them on Parent Square. We're using technology and trying to get the families involved to use technology so that we can get it out in all 3 languages, and get it out quickly, and get input back from the parents so they know what's going on. They feel they're part of the school, and they can communicate with the school. I know all of our principals are open. Anytime a parent has an issue, they can make an appointment and go see the principal at one of our high schools. And if not satisfied there, we ask them to always start there. They can always call the district office and request to meet with the superintendent. So we do want the parent involvement, and we have never turned away a parent from speaking at any of our board meetings.
Thank you. Ms. Perez.
I am a parent of a student in the school district, and I can tell you that I've seen the communication improve tremendously since I first started on the board. I get text messages with my students' grades every week, missing assignments. If they miss a class, I'm notified immediately. And a lot of these messages are translated on Parent Square. So there is a lot of information going out to parents. I know that we have a number of departments that make phone calls to parents when we have activities. And also, I think that if there's a parent who isn't receiving information or isn't sure about what they're receiving, call the school, call any of our counselors, and I think we'd be happy to explain anything that maybe is being missed. But I think the communication has been improved. The district is doing a good job, and we are definitely here for parents, and we want them to participate. Again, we had amazing turnouts prior to the pandemic, and I believe that we're heading right back there, and I expect to see a lot of parents participate in the activities that we have. And if anyone has any questions, just give us a call at the schools, and we'll be happy to answer any questions or concerns.
Very good. And now we'll have a question on special ed. And we'll begin with Mr. Palera. Special needs children have various types of special needs. And there's a question about what kind of expertise the teachers have to deal with a group of students that have various types of special needs that may be in a classroom together?
Well, special needs students are unique to all the campuses, and the goal with the state and with education is trying to get a special needs student back into a normal class, trying to normalize things for them. So we have special ed teachers that are trained to work with these students. We have some special ed students that their disability is so severe they won't be able to get back into the normal classroom, but they're on the campus as part of the campus, so we try to normalize what they're doing. But all our special ed teachers have to be certified and trained as a special ed teacher, so they do get training in that area. Not every teacher is a special ed teacher. And I know some of the teachers are saying as we're pushing them back, they would like a little more training in that area on how to deal with it, even though there might be an aide or a special ed teacher assigned to that individual. The teacher themselves are coordinating the classroom. So that was brought up. I know the district is looking into that to see what we can do to ease those things, to make the transition for a special ed student back into the classroom as easy as we can.
Thank you. Ms. Perez?
I agree with Mr. Palera. We have special ed teachers and personnel, including a director that oversees these programs. Students who have special needs have also IEPs, which are guidelines on how students receive services and when they can transition back to regular classes. So all of this is managed for our students, and I think we do the best that we can to serve every student that has special needs that are specific to them. And our staff is available and working with them. I think that, again, if there's anything specific with a particular student, that it should be, addressed with either the teacher or the principal or the school district. But we are here to support special ed students just like all of our other students.
Thank you. Mr. Baskett?
This is a very, very difficult subject in my view. I have a friend who was here a few days ago, came from another country, has a very deeply troubled, physically and mentally troubled son. And what do you do? How do you turn this troubled son into somebody that be a productive citizen? What's the best way to do that? I don't claim to have the answer. I know that in some cases, mainlining in the classes works out sort of okay. But the concern there is, do you draw down the class itself by perhaps the antics or problems of a special ed? You certainly don't want to isolate them in a jail-like situation or a mental institution. It's a tough, tough problem, and I do not have a good answer for it other than it's difficult to deal with and probably have to be done on a one-to-one basis. But a special ed student should be able to not be able to destroy the decorum of the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you. This question comes from Guadalupe. How will you solve the issue of buses which are too full, so students have to get off and are tardy for school as a result? Are you aware of this issue, and how will you recruit more bus drivers? We'll begin with Ms. Perez.
Sorry, I just want to make sure I understand the question. This is regarding students from Guadalupe being bused to our schools.
It sounds like it.
And there's some tardiness there.
There is, the buses are too full, so sometimes if they're too full and there aren't enough seats, students have to get off and wait for another bus, and then they're tardy. There just aren't enough buses, apparently.
Right. I am aware that there is a shortage of bus drivers. So that is a real issue. In fact, we're not the only school district that's dealing with that. I don't know how you solve having more bus drivers if there isn't enough. So I think if students are late or if they're not being able to catch the bus, I think that needs to be addressed. I'm not aware that was an issue. In terms of a solution, I mentioned it earlier, we do need to look at, in particular, building a new high school. I know that Guadalupe students travel to Brigetti High School every day, and that's pretty tough. That's tough to get up early and then sometimes not be able to participate in sports and activities, and that is why I'm supporting building a new high school, because I think that we need to build a school that will be closer to Guadalupe students, and we can eliminate some of these challenges that they face.
Thank you. Mr. Baskett?
Well, the simplistic answer is get bigger buses, because that won't work. And by the way, I once got American Yellow school buses, got it over to a place called Minsk in Belarusia for the ballet academy over there, which I enjoyed very much. But that's a tough thing, and you're right. The school bus drivers have to do a lot of things, including discipline on the bus, and being able to make that an attractive enough career or extra job for someone, I think is going to require additional dollars to draw a higher number of bus drivers into the system. Other than that, it's going to be a bit of a mess.
Thank you. Mr. Palera?
Thank you. That's actually a great question, because we're seeing bus driver shortage throughout the nation, throughout the state. The city of Santa Maria-Bonita School District, we're all struggling on bus drivers. Coming out of the pandemic, for whatever reason, a lot of the bus drivers retired. So there is a shortage of bus drivers, and we're scrambling and doing what we can to hold and hire bus drivers. Now, I'm unaware of the incident that was brought up on this question. I don't know if it was one of our school buses that was transporting the students, or was it a SMAT bus that was going out there and they were too full and had to empty. So we'll look into that. I'm glad the superintendent's still here. I know he's taking notes, and we'll find out why that happened. It shouldn't happen, but we are short bus drivers. We're very lucky to have a city of Santa Maria that works so closely with the school district, because they're moving routes on their buses and things to help out, because they realize we're short bus drivers and they are as well. So it works well together. So thank you.
Very good. Next question. How will you assist with students getting lunch and breakfast with long lines and short times? And we'll start with Mr. Baskett.
It's interesting to see long lines at some of the burger joints, and in those good, well-run places, restaurants, they have people come out with one line is and take the orders, and sometimes hand out things. I think perhaps waiting for somebody to come into the cafeteria in one line, there may be better solutions for that. When I was in college, I was a cafeteria server trying to earn my 30 cents an hour then, which was in those days okay. But there are ways, I believe, to either distribute or open up more lines at any cafeteria or restaurant, or go out on the line and try to take advance orders or deliver things with additional student help.
Thank you, Mr. Palera.
Yeah, it's interesting, the perception students have of what's a long line and what's going on at the cafeterias. Because when I went out and gone to some of the cafeterias, the lines aren't that long, and we're required to make sure that the students that are fed, they're fed a healthy meal, and there's certain things they must take. So I would push back a little on that and say it's up to the students to move through these lines well quickly too. Decide what you want. There's a lot of options. Take it and move on. As I'm there, I see a lot of bantering back and forth, and sometimes. So it's not. You can't always say it's just on the school district and the staff that are working there, because they're feeding a lot of students. I mean, you look at over 3,200 right here at Santa Maria High School. So that's a lot of students to feed. So the staff's doing everything they can to get you through. So the students have to help out a little on that too. Get their food move on, sit down so we can get those lines through.
Very good. Ms. Perez.
I actually did hear this from students in the past, and I went and got on the line at all of our 3 high schools and actually chose to stand at the very end of the line. And I got to tell you, kudos to all the staff and our classified staff, because they actually do an amazing job. The students can get through the line. I saw it myself. I would walk through that line myself, and when I talked to students who were not making it in the line, what they were telling me was that they had other activities that they wanted to also do, maybe go to a club, and then they did not have enough time. But for the most part, all students do have enough time to get through the line and get a lunch. I have actually proven that myself. So there's time.
Very good. All right. Okay. What role, this is the second to the last question, what role do you believe that schools have in regard to sex education, mental health, drugs, and alcohol? And we will begin, let's see, did I begin with you, Mr. Baskett, last time?
I think so.
So we'll begin with Mr. Palera this time then.
Thank you. We know the schools are picking up the role of a lot of different things now. The way the society is now, the schools are almost becoming like a de facto parent. They shouldn't be the parent, but they pick up some of this. So these things are important, and as I said, these are young adults now. These aren't grammar school students. These are high school students. These are students that are moving on, and within 2 or 3 years they're going to be adults and out on their own. So it is important that we educate them in these things. Drugs and alcohol, we have Fighting Back on our campuses. We're trying to educate the students that drugs and alcohol are not a good thing. Sometimes you see on TikTok, you see on movies and things, it looks cool, it's good. What really isn't. There's a reason why we don't allow young people to smoke and drink at an early age. It'll affect you, especially as you get older. So we do try to educate. Mental health is a big thing. We've increased our counselors. We're up to 20-something counselors that are throughout the district, and we're there to deal with some of these trauma and mental health issues to help the students that hit that level. So we recognize that. We're working on that. It's at all of our campuses.
Ms. Perez.
Yes, I want to echo what Mr. Palera said. We have 8 counselors per comprehensive high school. We have mental health counselors. We do have Fighting Back, psychologists, nurses, and a lot of other staff to help our students. So I'm very proud of the district increasing these services for our students. And students are required to take a health education class as part of the curriculum. So there's another opportunity, I think, for them to learn the dangers and what behaviors lead to sometimes unwanted consequences. And in addition, I do want to point out that the district is also doing an incredible job offering many evenings with workshops and classes for parents. We also have these services for parents. I'm just going to name a few because I'm very impressed with our school district and what they're doing. We have health education for parents. We have Parent University, where we offer parent skills, social and emotional wellness, pathways to college, financial literacy. There's just a long list, if you go to our website, of all the services that the school district offers our students and our parents. So I'm going to say that we're doing a good job at getting that information out to our students to let them know what pathways they can take to make good decisions.
Mr. Baskett?
Yeah, we have huge problems with all of these things throughout the society, not just in the schools, and some of it's crept in the military. One of the ways that perhaps could help is some organizations, the military has them, is chaplains. So in addition to these good things that have just been repeated, which I fully support, there may be a place, I think, for a quiet corner where chaplains are available, in addition to the other types of mental and emotional health counseling. That's it.
Thank you. And the final question will begin with Mr. Palera this time. Oh, no, we began with Mr. Palera last time. So, okay, must be getting late in the evening. Ms. Perez, this will be you starting. The question is, what is your financial expertise? How will we ensure that the budget is being appropriated correctly or the funds are distributed in the right manner?
Well, I actually do oversee my own budget in my full-time job. I manage probably close to $1 million in different funds and grants. So I'm very aware of what it takes to manage a budget. I've been doing it for over 20 years. And the school district does provide us reports every month on the budget balances, and I do review all of those on a monthly basis. And in addition, anybody can go through our minutes and our agenda to see that we've been audited numerous times at the school district, and we have passed all of those audits. We're responsible for overseeing those expenses. The school district is doing an amazing job at being good stewards of our taxpayer dollars. So I'm very confident that as a team that we are working well to assure that those dollars are going to serve our students, our staff, and everyone who contributes to the school district.
Thank you, Mr. Baskett.
This is a place where a lot of people get in trouble. And a lot of things that shouldn't happen do happen. Whether it's a church or a school or an airport or other organizations, there's usually a lot of concerns about who spends, who signs off, and other things. It is best, the experience has shown, that we have one person who will sign, another person who will check and countersign. And once in a while, as was mentioned, you have audits to make sure that C is checking with A and B. Without that, things happen that shouldn't happen. And budgets, you need to live within your budget. That's difficult sometimes for a government, but that's what we should do. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Palera.
But thank you. Working in the Sheriff's Department for the 30 years and then retiring as a commander, I had to do budgets from numerous divisions, whether it be the aviation, which was a nightmare budget, or just a patrol or a detective budget. So I'm familiar with the way budgets work in government. And the school district is no different. It's a government. And we're very transparent on that. We do get reports. Everything is always up there at a board meeting. We get updates on where we are at the budget. Every time the governor puts out new information, that is shared, where the money is going, how it's spent. All that information is on our website. We've done a great job of really improving our website. It's user-friendly now. It used to be a little pet peeve of mine. You go to our website, you can never find any information. It's a lot easier to find that information. And I would encourage the public to start looking at that. We have a very large budget. We spend a lot of money. And so you should be asking questions. We ask questions and we look, and we're audited all the time, and we've had no issues. So I'm very proud of the work that our division does in that aspect.
Thank you. And now we're at the part of our forum where we'll do a closing 2-minute statement from each candidate. The time can be used to clarify a previous point, or to bring up something new, or just summarize your key strengths as a candidate. So we'll begin with Mr. Baskett.
I have in my hand here something called a slide rule that predates the little pocket calculators and the personal computers. But these little instruments were used to create and build what you saw at the Santa Maria Airport Air Show. Half of those airplanes were 1930s, 1940s, 1950s. Those are designed and built using these things. I think it'd be nice to have students be aware of the development of tools in education rather than jumping directly into one of these which we've gotten to be addicted to. These are something that's made out of aluminum, plastic. These were used to fly and navigate aircraft from A to B around the world. Today, you've got basically flying computers. But I think fundamentally it's good for students to start with reading, writing, and arithmetic, stay there, and look at some of the tools in the past. I hope to bring an abacus tonight because I go to the Soviet Union, those are the checkout methods for the grocery store. But thank you for your time, especially for this event.
Thank you. Mr. Palera.
Well, I'm honored to serve the last 8 years as a board. And I look at it, it is a service and it is an honor on any board you serve on to give your time and all that. And I look at my career in the Sheriff's Department. I had a fantastic career, met some wonderful people. When I retired, I felt it was time for me to give back some more. Service is something that I've always done, whether being in the service, volunteer fireman, serving on committees that I'm asked to. Service is what I feel more people should, and we encourage our youth to do different things to serve. So I'm excited about the next 4 years. I feel like the second term I had was a lost term. COVID really set us back. And I'm looking forward as we're hitting it now. We got all the gears are turning. We're moving forward. We're looking, we're assessing things. We're going to improve things. We want to keep improving. We want to improve our campuses. We want to improve the education outcomes. So I'm excited and I'll be honored if I'm reelected for another 4 years. And thank you for coming tonight. Thank you to the League of Women Voters and the future leaders of America for putting this on. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Perez.
First of all, I want to thank the Future Leaders of America and the League of Women Voters, all the parents, the students, and the community members that are here. Thank you for coming out tonight. It was just a pleasure for me to be here and answer these questions. It's also been an honor for me to serve the last 8 years. We have an outstanding superintendent. We have amazing teachers and counselors in our district. Our classified staff, they knock it out of the park every day. Every day, everyone's working very hard to serve all of the students, the 9,000 students that we have in our school district. So I'm very proud of all the work, all the developments that I've seen over the last 8 years. I certainly would love to do another 4 years, and I hope that I do have your support because I am interested in bringing a new high school. I am interested in increasing support to Guadalupe students more than maybe we've been able to do in the past. I want to increase A through G. And a couple of other things that I didn't mention earlier is I am working on seeing if we can increase scholarships for students going on to four-year universities. I'm working on that project. And also, we do field trips for students. In the very near future, I want to see that we do field trips to colleges and universities for parents. I want to see that we involve more of our parents in the activities that their students are participating in. And there's a lot of other ideas that are new that I would like to bring to the school district. There's a lot of more work to be done. I hope that this November that you will consider me as the right candidate to continue to do this work. It's not only been an honor, but I've greatly enjoyed being on the school board and being able to serve my community, serve the students, and I look forward to hopefully serving another 4 years. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you. And now we can give all of our candidates a nice round of applause. Thank you. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you to the audience.